Welcome to Cenegenics Live, How to Have a Flat Belly Through the Holidays. On the line, we have Dr. Mickey Barber, Age Management Specialist and CEO, CMO of Cenegenics Carolinas, as well as Tiffany Jackson, Cenegenics Carolinas Nutrition Specialist. Please stay tuned to ask your questions of Dr. Mickey Barber and Tiffany Jackson after their presentation.
First, I want to thank everyone who called in tonight, and I really want to welcome Tiffany Jackson to the Cenegenics Carolinas team. We're really excited. I want to give Tiffany a little bit of an introduction here. She is a licensed naturopathic medical doctor who graduated from the University of Massachusetts in 2001 and then pursued her doctorate at the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine in Tempe, Arizona, graduating in 2005. After 8 years of education in this field, then she completed a one-year internship at the Center for Occupation and Environmental Medicine in North Charleston, South Carolina. Dr. Jackson has extensive training and expertise in nutrition, herbs, environmental medicine, and natural health counseling. She uses a wide range of natural treatments to promote the body's natural healing response, including comprehensive lab panels, special diets, herbal medicine, nutritional supplementation, and healthy lifestyle counseling. Tiffany specializes in nutrition and consults with patients for multiple conditions. She's also a certified yoga instructor with Yoga Alliance, and now she's part of the Cenegenics Carolinas team. So welcome, Tiffany. Now let's get to the hot topic of our teleconference, which is how to avoid overindulging and how to keep a flat belly through the holiday season. We all know 'tis the season of sweets and treats, so what can we do to reduce sugar cravings and the crashes that can happen?
All right. Well, thank you. I'm excited to be part of the team, and this is a hot topic that we have for the holidays. Everybody's been working on meeting their weight loss goals throughout the year. Now we need to maintain it. So one big thing is to understand why we crave sugar. So I like to explain to patients that, carbohydrates, when you eat a lot of them, and the reason that we go for these sweet sugars is because it releases that feel-good chemical called serotonin. It calms and relaxes us and gives us a natural high. So that's one reason why we are always craving it. Not only does it taste good, but we like to reward ourselves with treats, and you get in this vicious cycle of craving more because we have the serotonin chemical going along. So during the holidays, we always like to get off track and indulge in more sweets. And there's a couple different things that you can do, but one of the big things is understanding the high carbohydrate diet. If you're eating those carbohydrates, especially refined carbohydrates, and skipping meals, staying up late, and having excessive stress, and using overstimulants such as colas and coffees, and if you're deficient in certain B vitamins and certain minerals, those can all contribute to sugar cravings.
Wow, that sounds like all the things that most of us do over the holidays. So I know that there are some mineral deficiencies that can actually cause you to crave sugar. So can you talk about that a little bit, Tiffany?
Oh, yeah. So deficiencies in certain trace minerals can cause people to have really intense sugar cravings. So the big thing to understand is that these trace minerals are usually involved with glucose metabolism and insulin production. Mm-hmm. So when you have deficiencies in certain minerals like chromium, vanadium, magnesium, and zinc, you can crave more sugar, which is going to cause you to gain more weight. So most Americans have really low levels of chromium. So one really important mineral that I like to get people on during the holidays is chromium, because it's regulating what's called glucose tolerance factor, which is necessary for insulin to work to bring the glucose in the cells so you can utilize it for energy. If not, you're going to store it as fat. So the chromium deficiency, if you're deficient in chromium, usually people have sugar crashes and they have intense cravings for sugar. So there are natural sources for chromium, such as lean meats and asparagus, cheese, some whole grains, and brewer's yeast. But that's a good one that some people can get in a supplement form. Another mineral that I like to teach patients about is vanadium. It can cause some sugar cravings if you're deficient. That's found in shellfish, mushrooms, some wine, beer, whole grains, and it is needed for your muscles to obtain glucose for energy, and it also helps block the storage of excess glucose in the fat cells. by stabilizing insulin. So it's real tricky with all these minerals because it's all about stabilizing your insulin levels. So we want to make sure you have optimal vanadium in your diet as well. One of my other favorites that I tend to find a lot of athletes are deficient in is magnesium. So your body needs magnesium. It's one of the most important minerals. And people that are deficient in magnesium crave chocolate. So a lot of times I have patients, it's on my little check form, do you crave chocolate? Because that tells me that they might have a magnesium deficiency. It is so important for over 300 metabolic reactions in your body, and it also is important for that glucose, insulin production, and neurotransmitter dopamine, which you don't want to get your neurotransmitters out of balance because then you'll also have other cravings. So making sure your magnesium levels are optimal, you can find that in certain foods such as soybeans, spinach, lima beans, almonds, hazelnuts. Nuts and seeds tend to have a lot of magnesium, also your oat bran and brown rice. And then my last favorite mineral that helps with blood sugar balance and helps decrease cravings is zinc. And most people think of zinc for their immune system to help ward off a cold, but it's also needed for proper insulin and glucose utilization. So making sure you have optimal zinc levels over the holidays not only will help you decrease your sugar cravings, but it's also going to help you not get, hopefully, sick and ward off any viruses and bacteria. So zinc's found in some foods such as pork, beef, lobster, yogurt, chickpeas, almonds, oatmeal, but I like people to take it in supplement form just to make sure we have optimal levels.
So do you recommend that no matter what, that maybe it's a good idea to kind of increase your intake both in a supplement form and through food of these 4 minerals around the holidays?
Absolutely. I like people to get on, if they're not already on a good multivitamin that has these minerals in it, I like them to get on a good mineral supplement. And then make sure they're eating. Most of these minerals are found in your whole grains and in meats and in nuts and seeds. So as long as they have adequate amounts of those in their diet, then they shouldn't be deficient.
Okay. Now, is there some way that we can actually see, whether they have the appropriate amounts of those minerals in our diet? I mean, how can we find that out?
Yeah, well, there is a spectral cell test, which I believe we do in office. So it's a blood test that can take a look at all the different levels of minerals if you're looking to take it a step further to see what your individualized levels are. But it does fluctuate depending on, your diet and seasons.
Although I would think it's a pretty good guess that if you're a big chocolate craver and it's around the holidays, that taking some additional magnesium is probably a good idea, you think?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So can you tell us some nutritional guidelines to help to keep our blood sugar in balance? Because obviously it's those peaks and troughs in our blood sugar that causes us those crashes that we might have. And there's so many temptations and so much going on over the holidays. I mean, how can we really keep ourselves balanced and control our sugar cravings over the holidays?
The big thing I like to teach people is eating the mini meals throughout the day. Usually it's about 5 mini meals. If you can eat them and then make sure that you have some protein and fat in every meal, that's going to help you stabilize your blood sugar levels. Also,
let me stop you real quick right there. So people might be kind of, saying, what do you mean 5 meals a day? I mean, isn't that going to make it worse?
Well, you would think, but no, not if you have the adequate amount of protein and fat. You're going to stay fuller longer in between those mini meals, so you're not going to get the sugar cravings.
Okay. What else?
So eating on the regular schedule and then avoiding the refined carbohydrates. So I like to recommend low glycemic type diet, including your olive oils and your healthy fats. So staying away from this high refined sugar foods, because when you'll get in a vicious cycle if you're eating those, your blood sugar is going to be dropping faster and you're going to be craving more to balance those levels out. Another thing that I'd really like to help people during times of stress and during the holidays is, managing stress. A lot of times we get caught up in our schedules and we get more stressed during the holidays and we stop, going to our exercise class or we stop going to yoga and we just let the holidays catch up with us and forget about doing those. So make sure you stay enrolled in your yoga. I think yoga is one of the best things you can do for stress management. Take time to breathe when you're in the car, taking deep breaths while, taking time to meditate. And if you're real worried about stuff, setting a worry time each day and just allow yourself to worry for those 5 or 10 minutes and then let it go. Make a list of things that need attention and start taking care of them and letting go of some stress, because that's what happens during the holidays is sometimes our stress levels just get so caught up, and now we're more busy and now we're not eating well. And so, trying to plan your meals out, have your mini meals, have balanced protein, carbohydrate diet, and then making sure you're doing something to keep stress under control. And then drinking water. I really cannot stress how important water is. A lot of times people begin to crave food and crave sugar because of a result of dehydration. It makes you feel sluggish. It makes you feel tired and weak, sometimes just if you haven't had enough water. And a lot of times people misinterpret dehydration for hunger and sugar cravings. So before you go grabbing a sweet snack, go drink 6 or 8 ounces of water and give yourself 10 or 15 minutes and see if that doesn't help. And sometimes you'll be surprised how just getting an adequate amount of water into your body can help stop sugar cravings. So, and overall, you want to aim for half your body weight in ounces in water. So if you're 150 pounds, you want to aim to at least have 75 ounces of water a day. And like we said before, the most important thing is incorporating a multivitamin with those extra minerals. Also, when you get the multivitamin, you'll have those extra B vitamins in there, which that's going to help with serotonin production and keeping the neurotransmitters balanced. And then also adding an omega-3 fatty acid supplement. They're very involved in regulating mood. They also decrease inflammation. There's a lot of studies out there with omega-3 fatty acid supplementation linked to decreasing cravings. So, it's really finding that balance between the adequate amount of nutrition with the minerals, the B vitamins, the omegas, and then also making sure your diet's healthy without refined carbohydrates and things like that.
So by omega-3, you mean something like a fish oil or a krill oil supplement? Is that what you mean?
Exactly, yes.
And I wanted to throw in this about water, because a lot of us will be on an airplane, maybe traveling from one place to another, and you should replenish not only with half your body weight of water, which is our normal replenishment, but you should be having 8 ounces of water for every 1 hour of air travel time. So if you're traveling by a plane somewhere and you're feeling tired when you get there, it's most likely because you're kind of dehydrated by the time you get there. Now, what about those of us who, like most of us on the call, are probably expecting to go to some holiday parties, and, here you are trying to get into your nice, cocktail dress for the party, and last night's party you're carrying around a little bit more of a bloated belly than you'd like to have. How can you keep a flat belly with all this holiday party stuff going on, Tiffany?
Well, there's 2 things that you can do. When you're going to go to a party, you want to make sure that you're not overeating. And so you want to make sure you eat something healthy before you go to the party. Always eat dinner, even if they, provide a big dinner. Maybe eat something so you're not going to overeat. And munch on the veggie and fruit platters instead of the dessert tray. I always tell people, too, bring gum. You would be surprised when you're chewing on gum how much sugar cravings are decreased. But when it comes to fitting into those dresses and, making sure those pants aren't too tight, I like to teach people how to decrease the bloating, because a lot of times we can get bloated. And there's many different factors that can cause people to get bloated. But we're going to focus on just, what causes bloating. And when you're talking about foods, the raw vegetables, so when people eat raw vegetables such as cauliflower and broccoli, cabbage, peppers, and onions, and a big one is Brussels sprouts, they can cause you to feel and cause more gas and make you a lot more bloated. So you want to stay away from those foods. You also want to stay away from spicy foods, because when the spicier the meal is, the more stomach acid it triggers, which leads to more bloating. And then also your fatty foods, they just get digested more slowly, so they can sometimes cause some excess bloating. I like people to pick fruit, sunflower seeds and walnuts and avocados, things like that, if they're trying to get healthy fats in their diet. And avoiding salt, that's a big one if we want to decrease bloating, because the sodium attracts water, which is going to retain fluid. So if you're really trying to squeeze into that dress and look good for the holidays, make sure you're decreasing salt in your diet at least a couple days before. And then staying away from carbonated drinks. Of course, air bubbles can cause you to be more bloated, and some people, if they chew gum a lot, swallowing air can cause more bloatingness. But those are the big ones, and something you can do to decrease it is, get some more fiber in your system. So taking a fiber supplement or supplementing with high-fiber foods like your bran cereals, lentils, blueberries have a ton of fiber in them, peas, flax seeds are one of my big favorite fiber supplements. So you can do that. There are, too, some herbal teas that you can drink if you feel like you are bloated. I highly recommend peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is one of my favorite for decreasing bloatingness and reducing gas, and chamomile, ginger tea. They're all great that you can drink, and you can also add ginger into your meals to help decrease the effect of bloatingness.
Well, that's all really good stuff. I mean, that's interesting. So what else can we do about just some simple things in our habits that we can do to kind of keep that bloating under control? Because the holidays are not just one day. We're talking about several weeks of this.
Absolutely. Exercise. Exercise is the number one biggest thing that will help you reduce bloating, because it's keeping the activity in the digestive tract processing more quickly. So you're not going to retain excess gas and excess air. The more you're exercising, the more you're moving that through. And then also eating slowly. Slow down a little bit. Make sure you're chewing your food optimally, allowing those enzymes to break everything down, and making sure you're not talking too quickly. Making sure you're chewing with your mouth shut, things like that, because you're getting excess air. When you're doing things real fast, which we all like to do when we're all stressed and on the run and on the go, we're eating quickly, we're talking fast, it's go, 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 and then before you know it, you feel all bloated. So just trying to slow everything down and stop using straws. Believe it or not, when you drink out of a straw all the time, you're causing that excess air to come in, and that could make you a little bloated.
Wow, that's kind of wild. What about probiotics? I've heard that they can help to reduce that discomfort and bloating.
Yes, I love probiotics, and there are recent studies out that are showing that probiotics have been effective when it comes to bloating. I think there was a study, and 72% of women reported a decrease in bloating symptoms after running through a course of probiotics. So a course of probiotics would be, for a good week or two before. But it's easy, too, to get probiotics in yogurt and in some dairy products. But a lot of times with probiotics, and we could probably do a whole teleconference on this, is, when you're getting probiotics into the GI system, when you eat it, you have stomach acid. So the stomach acid can kill a lot of bugs. That's what it's there for. And it's breaking down your nutrients. So a lot of the good stuff doesn't get into our digestive tract where we need it to be. So if you are supplementing, you want to do it in a pill or a powder form that we know can get through the stomach acid. And you can see that on the label. It usually says it's acid proof, or it's got an acid capsule on it. So, but probiotics are great. I've had a lot of patients report when they take it, their stomachs tend to go down and they're not as gassy.
Right. That sounds
like a good thing.
In
the beginning of supplementing with the probiotics, though, you do want to make, it can stir up some stuff because you're getting good bugs in your GI system. So in the beginning, it can make you a little bit more gassy, but in the end result, you would be less.
So it sounds like that's a good thing to start like now, maybe. And
absolutely.
And then kind of, get those bacteria all happy in your gut before the holidays hit. What about, I'm going to say it, alcohol is a big temptation during the holidays. What can we do about that? Because that certainly can cause some bloating and many other things. What can we do about that? We don't want to say give it up completely necessarily, but how can we make it through the holidays?
Absolutely. Alcohol is really one of the biggest that we all have during the holidays. It can be one of our worst enemies because it's
Dr. Barber,
Hello?
are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah.
I see Tiffany's still connected. I don't know if maybe she muted herself. Tiffany, are you there?
You can't hear her at all?
I don't hear her at all. I do see that she is still connected, though.
Okay.
I'm here. Can you hear me? I don't know what in the world happened.
Nope, I don't either. Okay, go ahead and start over with alcohol. I think we lost you right at the beginning of that. What happened?
Oh, okay. Well, that's really weird. I don't know what happened. Okay, well, I'm back. And, for the alcohol, what I like to teach people is, the different alcohol beverages of choice that we need to figure out which ones they can drink. So there's, vodka, there's different champagne and beers and wine. So which one should they reach for that can have a less, not only bloating effect, but less sugar fluctuation effect that can cause them to gain weight. So the big one that I like to teach people is vodka. Using vodka, just mixing it with fresh water or soda and mixing it with a lemon and a lime makes a really good low-calorie, low-carb drink. I like people to flavor it with stevia. There's a sweet leaf stevia brand out there, and they make a lemon-flavored, orange-flavored, grape-flavored, so you can flavor the different vodkas without adding all that extra sugar and fruit to it. Also, for a lot of my men out there, I recommend doing Jack Daniels and just mixing it with water. And then the wines, red wine is a good, is not too bad. It has lower calories. It does have some more carbs in it. And then champagne is pretty low. It has about 95 calories and a carb to a carb and a half for a 4-ounce glass. And then your light beer. So steering away from mixing all of the sugars into vodkas and tequilas and things like that, and then making sure you're staying away from the hearty micro-brewed beers. They can catch up with you. So doing a light beer like Mick Ultra is a good choice. And then just keeping it simple with a vodka soda, with a lemon and a lime, or, 1 glass of red wine or 1 glass of champagne. It's really the overindulgence that can catch up with us. So just making sure you're trying to minimalize the alcohol intake as much as possible. But, of course, we're going to be at a holiday party. You're going to have something. So just making sure you're reaching for one of the lower carb, lower calorie instead of the cosmopolitans and martinis and Long Island iced teas.
Right, the Kahlua and cream. I'm thinking that's not good either. What about people that decide to skip a meal, plan for the party, so they decide not to eat for a couple of meals before they go? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, that's not a good idea. So I don't recommend people, like a lot of times patients will say, oh, well, I'm not going to eat dinner and then I'm just going to drink my calories, at the party. And that's really a bad move. I recommend people, definitely eating a healthy meal before they get there, because then they're going to be much less likely to snack, and drinking on an empty stomach can just enhance the negative effects of alcohol, and then they're going to end up, eating a ton more, and they'll just feel fuller if you have a nice meal before you get there. And if you're worried about overindulging at the holiday party, you just need to exercise more. The key into staying healthy and decreasing, sugar cravings and keeping your body the way that it is and maintaining is just exercising a little bit more to balance out the caloric intake instead of, skipping a meal.
Well, I think those are all great points, and I do think, kind of getting the stress under control and recognizing that's a big part of the holidays, and taking time out to, do some deep breathing and spending some alone time is really important too. And I'm sure that the people that are on this call probably have some questions, and we are going to go ahead right now and open up our teleconference to discussion and questions, and really to get your full benefit from Dr. Jackson's advice, if you will please, participate. And Carrie, maybe you can tell them how they can do that, please.
Sure, Dr. Barber. Thank you. Dr. Barber and Tiffany will now be accepting questions from the audience. If you have a question, all you need to do is press the number 1 time on your phone, and that'll get you into the question queue. Once again, press the number 1 one time to get into the question queue, and we'll take all those questions in the order that they are received. Let's give just a few moments to see who lines up in the queue.
All righty.
Our first question will come from Carrie Crosby. Carrie, your line's open.
Hey, Tiffany. I heard that you said that people should be eating proteins and fats, but fat sounds like such a scary word. What should people be focusing on in small meals when they should be focusing on proteins and fats?
Okay, it was kind of cutting up. Was the question with the healthy fats for it was breaking
meals,
up. I didn't hear the whole.
For mini meals, Tiffany, like what kind of fats should they be having? Because, it's kind of scary for a lot of people to eat fats. What would you recommend?
Oh,
fats?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I talk about fats, I'm thinking more of healthy nuts and seeds and avocados, or just putting a healthy, like olive oil on your dressing, on your salad, or you can also put a little olive oil over your chicken or drizzle it over anything that you're eating. So we're not talking about fats being fried foods. We're talking more healthy fats that are found in nature. So your nuts and your seeds and avocados are good fats, and then looking at the oils,
mm-hmm.
which olive oil and flaxseed oil, and some of your fish oils are very healthy fats.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions out there?
At this time, there are no other questions in the queue.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your attendance tonight. And, Carrie, if you can kind of give our information, because if any questions come up tonight, you can email us or you can call tomorrow, and we'll be happy to respond. And, again, this is also going to be recorded and will be on our website probably by the weekend. And please ask any of your friends, or if you'd like to listen to it again, to just go ahead and get on our website and you can listen one more time. So, Carrie, can you kind of wrap things up for us?
Sure, Dr. Barber, thank you. For more information, or if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Dr. Mickey Barber directly at 843-724-7272, or email her at mbarber@cenegenics-carolinas.com. That's MBARBER at CENEGIENICS.com. Or you can register online at www.cenegenicscarolinas.com. Cenegenics Carolinas is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, you can reach Dr. Mickey Barber directly at 843-724-7272. Again, the number is 843-724-7272. Email her at mbarber@cenegenics-carolinas.com, or register online at www.cenegenicscarolinas.com. We thank you for your participation. Have a good afternoon or evening. You may now disconnect.